Hello and welcome. You are at the right place to birth your dreams. This is Tiffany Jo Baker, helping you navigate the road and relationships well while trying to conceive. Hello, friends. This is Tiffany Jo Baker, your couples life and fertility support coach and 3-time surrogate. Today, I want to talk about surrogacy. It's so near and dear to my heart since I've been a surrogate 3 times and carried 2 sets of twins and 1 single precious baby girl as a surrogate. So I understand the process and have worked with 3 amazing families. So through it all, I've learned some tips and just what is most important when you're navigating the surrogate and intended parent relationship. So there's lots of reasons why you might need or be considering using a surrogate to grow your family. It can be because of cancer, you might not be able to carry, or it might be because of recurrent pregnancy loss. Whatever it might be, I know it's a hard decision. I know it's a big decision, but there are some things that you can do to help take full advantage and make the process and the relationship between surrogate and intended parents run more smoothly, even through the ups and downs of the journey. So there's 5 tips that I want to give you for navigating the relationship between a surrogate and an intended parent. And number 1, it begins with the foundation. The foundation of identifying what really matters most to you on this journey. What's so important to you? What are your beliefs? What do you want to get out of this? What are your expectations for the relationship? How are you seeing the process go? And really figuring that out, identifying it ahead of time. And most agencies will have you do some kind of counseling or coaching together when you're figuring out if you're the best match. So use that time with you and the professional to really go through the expectations, go through that contract and the paperwork, what you expect. Maybe there's things related to lifestyle that you expect from the surrogate. Maybe there's things related to travel and things like that. So really thinking it through, what do you want? And talking about it, communicating about it from the beginning and establishing that communication, so when and if your foundations change, you can have that conversation. And knowing that your expectations will probably change. So the biggest thing that you can do to cause hurt and frustration is to have unmet or unrealistic expectations. So it's important to identify what you expect, communicate about it, adjust when necessary, and move on. So the second tip for navigating the surrogate intended parent relationship is relationship type. So determine ahead of time, what kind of relationship do you want between the surrogate and the intended parent? If you're the parent, what kind of relationship do you want? Would you prefer it to be more of a business relationship? Would you prefer it to be more of a teammate relationship or a friend of the family type relationship? Identify what you want, what you think you want, what you see happening through the process, and make sure you're matched with somebody who wants the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to do another video maybe next week about matching, finding the right surrogate for you and finding the right intended parent for you if you're the surrogate. But it's important on the relationship journey that you have identified what the type of relationship that you want through the process. So you have your foundations, you have your relationship type, and the third one is medical stuff. So this is important. Identify and talk about how you want those doctor's appointments to go. Whether the parents will be there if they're able to, whether you'll go to the appointments and relay it, the information, or how you relay the information, who will be in the delivery room, and what will happen after delivery. Will you all have adjoining rooms? Will you connect before you leave? And a lot of that will be based on the type of relationship that you've already identified. Also, this is huge, and I should have said this in the relationship type, but talk about how things will happen after delivery. What type of relationship do you want after the delivery? Will you stay in touch through Facebook, through visits, through pictures, or will you not? So I know a lot of surrogates, because I'm a part of the surrogate world, sometimes are a little upset or disappointed that the relationship hasn't continued, or they feel dropped. And I can only help but think that maybe that wasn't talked about beforehand, or maybe that expectation changed and it wasn't communicated. So it's important to really identify relationship type and the medical stuff and what will happen after the delivery of your miracle baby. So number 4 key for navigating the surrogate and intended parent relationship is the flow, the communication flow. How we all keep connected, because most likely you won't be local, and you may. If you are, that's just an even extra benefit. But identify, how will the communication go? How will you share the journey? Will you be texting? Will you be calling? Will you be video chatting? Will you be setting up a private Facebook group with you and the parents so that you can be posting pictures or communicating between the two of you? So really identifying the flow of communication back and forth and what's expected. Are you expected to check in daily, weekly, monthly? Not at all. And normally what I do is I try to understand the parents' expectations and then follow their lead, but then also give a little bit extra. So I think that that's really important, because they might be holding back a little bit to respect your boundaries and your life. So you always want to let them know that you are open to a little bit more if you are. If you're not, then that's okay too. And that should be part of the knowing the expectations going into the journey. So really establish and determine that flow of communication back and forth between the surrogate and the intended parents. And that will also be based on the relationship type and what you want out of this process and what you want to get at the end of this process and throughout the rest of your parenthood and your family's life. So you have the foundations, you have the relationship type, you have the medical stuff, you have the flow of communication, and number 5 is the golden rule. Treat the other as you would want to be treated. I think it's so important as a surrogate that you honor the parents, that when you're in the doctor's offices together, that you're always, even though you'll be considered the patient, the client, when you're going to those appointments, it's important that you honor the parents and that you always confer and converse with them about what their preferences are through this journey. So asking them first, what do you think? What would you prefer? When you're even scheduling appointments, if they're going to be there, or maybe extra tests that would be taken, or how the process will work through and who will be in the room for what process. So prefer the other. One of the things that I did on my journeys is I would get one of those recordable storybooks, and I would give it to the parents and the family as a gift and have them record them doing the storybook with their voices. And then they would give it back to me. And almost every night of pregnancy, I would do story time with their baby or babies, since I carry 2 sets of twins, and let them hear their parents' voices reading to them before bed. And that was a way that I honored the parents through this process, kept their voice going in their baby's ears while they were in my womb, but just making sure that they're a part of the journey and trying to make them feel as connected as possible through the path. So those are my 5 tips as a 3-time surrogate for navigating the relationship between a surrogate and the intended parents. I hope this helped. I'll do another one on how to match and make sure you get the best surrogate and the best intended parents for this journey. And so look ahead because I try to do these videos every Thursday for Thriving Thursday. So again, this is Tiffany Jo Baker, your couples life and fertility support coach, helping you thrive through infertility and birth your dreams. Well, there you have it. It's is another episode of learning how to thrive through infertility. Don't forget, subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment below so we can connect, and hit the bell so you can be notified of future episodes to help you thrive through infertility, birth your dreams, and navigate the road and relationships well while trying to conceive.